Another winter storm is plowing into the Bluegrass State this evening, bringing more snow and a little bit of ice.
With Kentucky taking a big hit from the winter weather and freezing temperatures, it may lead to issues in your home. We'll talk to some experts about how to prevent those issues.
And because of this week's weather, Fayette County Schools has had to adjust plans for returning to in-person learning. The details you need to know about when students will be back in the classroom.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. Our third round of winter weather comes into Kentucky tonight.
And the main concern is more power outages impacting some of those hardest hit areas. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's timing this third storm out as our First Alert Weather Day continues.
Yeah, this isn't as much of an ice signature. It's really not much at all in terms of freezing rain that we're going to be getting. But at this point, guys, everything is just covered in ice. The power lines, the trees, and we're going to add some snow to that. And unfortunately, instead of this being a dry, powdery snow like what we had yesterday, this is going to be more of a higher water content in those snowflakes. So it's a wetter snow, and you know how those wet snows, they like to stick to everything. Well, they're going to stick to those trees and power lines that are coated in ice, and any added weight is going to bring more trees and power lines down. The stress on some of those trees now that have been covered in ice for more than a week since that first storm last week, and then obviously we added to that, and now we're going to add it to it. So the stress on those trees has been tremendous. Winter storm warning, winter weather advisory, a general 2 to 6 inches of snow. Now, you know, we look at this, the weather doesn't follow lines per se, but this gives us a good estimate in terms of the actual snowfall across the region. Anywhere from a couple to as much as 6 inches of wet snow. That is going to have a big impact not only on travel, but also on power as well. A little wetter brand of snow, so roads that are already clear or in pretty good shape will be in better shape this go around than what we just had, because we're not talking about the ice on top of that just matted everything down. Light snow not reaching the ground here. Just got a snow report out of Bowling Green on my Twitter feed, and likely, he says, to get in on some of those snows across the Somerset area back toward the southwest, toward Lake Cumberland. Snowing in Nashville, back toward Memphis. This storm goes all the way, guys, down the mighty Mississippi, not too far from the New Orleans area. Mardi Gras week, or what would traditionally be Mardi Gras week, and it's snowing in parts of Louisiana. The new call for snowfall, again, we'll update that as the evening wears on based on the current radar trends.
All right, Chris, we know you'll keep us posted. Thank you. Thousands of people still don't have power. More snow on the way means it could take even longer for utility crews to get the lights back on.
Now, some families have been in the dark for days. In Berea, some are waiting for the power to come back on. Our Chad Hedrick is live there following the work to get the power on. Chad, how's it going?
Well, Sam, I actually just talked to a man who was here filling up 2 big containers for gasoline for his generator, also filling up his truck. He's been without power since Monday and has been told it could be a lot longer until he gets his power back. I have been driving around and noticed that gas stations like this one behind me here in town are having a steady stream of customers coming in, filling up their tanks, and I have seen a few others with containers filling up for their generators and propane tanks and things like that, so that they are ready should they lose power again. I checked in with Berea's utility company here, checking with them to see their outage situation. They say at the height of the storm they had about 1,500 customers in the dark. Most of those, though, have been restored. Also looking at the Kentucky statewide map, there are about 580 customers in the dark in all of Madison County. Most of them are Clark Energy customers in the northeastern part of the county. Berea Utilities, though, they've been doing some preemptive work here, trying to clear away some remaining debris. There's still a lot of ice on the lines and the trees here, especially in the rural parts of this area. They actually had to de-energize the line last night to remove a tree before this wet snow comes and weighs it down and causes more damage and outages in this area. So right now, no major issues to report here in Berea. Like I said, though, still a few handful of families still in the dark here waiting for some relief. They say this news of wet snowfall coming, maybe causing more damage, is not what they want to hear, but they are determined to ride it out and cannot wait to get the lights back on. In Berea, Chad Hedrick, WKYT.
Very busy scene there. Thank you, Chad. Here's the outage map that we keep checking. It tracks outages across Kentucky. And right now, about 85,000 customers are without power. As you can see, most are in southern and eastern Kentucky. Remember, yesterday we topped out at about 150,000 outages.
Well, crews in Clay County are trying to restore the power there. 1,700 customers in that county don't have electricity. Crews are salting roads and clearing more than 400 trees down. Emergency management officials say they continue to focus on the most vulnerable in the community.
We've worked tirelessly day after day trying to make sure all of our citizens are safe and have a way to meet their appointments and get their medical needs met.
Well, crews say that their salt supply is still in good shape with nearly half of their bin full.
Many people in Johnson County are still working in the dark as well.
Winter weather has been hard on power lines and roads. Many crews from the region and out of state are working to clean up and get the electricity back on. Officials with Big Sandy RECC say that's a huge undertaking that could take up to 2 weeks.
We've got a lot of outages, a lot of devastation to overcome, but we're doing it. We're working at it, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take some days to get this power restored.
The Paintsville Recreation Center is now open as a warming station, offering showers and food for people in need. The Recreation Center had about 10 people on site as of noon today. One man said he didn't know how his family would make it without a place like that to stay. In Rowan County, the judge executive says state, secondary, and county roads are a hazard. Most debris has been cleared, but ice remains the concern for most places. Today, crews are working on trouble spots. About 1,400 customers are without power in that county. For anyone who needs a warm shelter, officials say the Laughlin building on the Morehead State University campus will be open for folks who need it.
Another concern for a lot of people is the ice building up in their driveways.
And with more snow on the way, it's important to be prepared for any issues that winter weather may cause. WKYT's Victor Puente explains.
Like many Kentuckians, Kevin Flatter tells me it's been a long time since he's seen ice like this.
The last few days has been the toughest since I've been doing this. Like I said, it's not usually have 2 to 4 inches of ice underneath this snow, so it's been challenging getting the lots clear for everybody.
He's got a 6-person crew that's been pushed to the max since this started last week.
These guys have been out almost 30 hours, 2 different times, with stopping and taking a couple hour nap here and there.
Flatter tells me they usually plowed, then salted areas, but the ice is so thick now he has to salt first, then come back later to plow, and then salt again. That's similar to the advice he gives for people who want to clear it from their driveways.
The best thing you can do is try to find some ice melt somewhere. If you have concrete driveway, you want to use ice melt and not salt because it'll eat your driveway up. Really, right now, that's about your best bet. You can't hardly shovel it. It just won't come up.
Flatter told me he does do a few private homes, but most of his work is parking lots, and he's got plenty on his plate.
I've turned down more work than I even have, so yeah, I mean my phone is blown up nonstop, and unfortunately we have to tell people that we're just full.
In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
We have also heard from plumbers who said that they are starting to have calls about frozen pipes, and we want you to know how things are where you are. In today's WKYT live poll, we're asking, is your driveway still covered with snow and ice? And the chances are that's pretty good. 10% of you say no, 89% of you say yes, it is. Let us know what you think. You can vote in our live poll. It's on our website on WKYT.com.
And you can stay up to date on this storm anywhere you go. Just download the WKYT First Alert Weather app. It's available for free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Well, this week's winter weather caused yet another delay for some students to return to in-person learning here in Fayette County. Kindergarten, first and second grade students will go back next week. That is, weather permitting.
They just can't seem to catch a break. The school district also announced plans for the rest of elementary students to return. Our Shelby Lofton has more.
COVID cases and now winter storms have stopped students at Fayette County Public Schools in their tracks.
There was a train, and it was called winter weather, and we just simply got slammed.
District leaders say they plan to get back on schedule.
We have no intention of trying to drag this out.
Paul Phillips has twin sons in third grade, and his wife teaches first grade.
I do support the school system in a whole, but that doesn't preclude me from also questioning some of the decisions.
He says parents deserve more explanation and warning.
You have work schedules. Many of them can't be changed on the drop of a dime.
Dr. Helms says she wants each group of students, families, and teachers to have time to settle back into a new routine once they return. Then more grades can be added in layers.
We know that the phase was to include grade 6 and 9 and 12. And we are still very, very committed for those students to be brought back.
Phillips says with many teachers so close to being fully vaccinated, what's the rush?
My wife just got the second vaccine shot last Friday, and we know that 7 to 14 days out is the peak effectiveness.
Dr. Helms says she wants every student to be back in the classroom this year, but there are a lot of factors that play a role in the decision.
Make sure that we are respecting and caring for the health and safety of all of our students, families, and employees.
The district said it's also looking at the availability of campus employees like bus drivers and cafeteria workers to decide when it's the best time to bring other grades inside. In Lexington, Shelby Lofton, WKYT.
Right now, the school district has 34 openings for bus drivers. Those positions, we understand, must be filled so all students can return to school.
A report of vandalism at Center College coming up, how school leaders there are working to address the issue and school safety.
I'm Bill Bryant. Former President Donald Trump is harshly critical of Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell, and conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh has died. Coming up.
Snow developing across much of southwestern Kentucky down into Nashville and Memphis. That's heading toward Kentucky. And we'll time it into where you live with the Hour of Hour Future Radar next. It's all eyes on southwestern parts of the region. That'll be the area of the state getting in on snow before everybody else. Right now, the radar is showing snow. It's just not getting to the ground just yet. We've got to kind of moisten up the column from the clouds down to where we live. And this go around, the temperature from the clouds to the ground is below 32 the entire trip as of right now. So that means snow. Take a look at 9 different sky cams from throughout the Bluegrass State. We've got you covered from Louisville, Frankfort, Georgetown through Lexington all the way into the mountains of eastern Kentucky, where we're going to be dealing with several inches of snow and the likelihood of a little bit of some freezing drizzle that'll try to get into the mix. Winter weather advisory, Northern Kentucky winter storm warning that is out for the rest of the state. All the counties that are in the pink have that winter storm warning, and this is for the possibility of several inches of snow. Winter storm warning is typically for around 4 inches or more in a 12-hour period, and that's what we're facing as of right now. 2 to 4, Lexington Metro will set the over-under on Lexington right at 3 inches. I'm going to take the over. We'll go 3 to 6 just to our south and southeast with a swath that may also include a little bit of freezing drizzle in there. And then far southeastern Kentucky, you may switch it over to some plain old rain for a little bit tomorrow, or a touch of some freezing rain with that. But this does not have sleet. It does not have a big ice signature compared to what we have been seeing over the past few days. Looking at the radar now, if you're in Lexington, you're still in okay shape. We're going to start to see some of those flakes, though, reaching the ground across south central Kentucky. The radar, it sees the snows up there, but a lot of that stuff is evaporating before it can get down to the ground. Snowing in Bowling Green, snowing in Nashville, snowing down I-40 toward Memphis, Tennessee, and into parts of the Little Rock, Arkansas area. It has been a long year this week. Yeah, it's been a long week. That's what we're talking about. Low pressure down into parts of the deep south. We got snow, sleet, freezing rain. I had a report of thunder, sleet, and snow into Louisiana just a little bit ago. Arctic high to our north. Future radar, 7 o'clock-ish. We are still in pretty good shape for many areas. Then by 8 o'clock or so, we start to see those bands of some snow that will increase. Where you see those darker blues, that could be some heavier snow, wet snow. And that's what we don't want to see. This through 3 o'clock in the morning. And then by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, things have dried up just a little bit. And then the next wave starts to gear up and move in as the day goes on tomorrow. That's around 3 o'clock into the afternoon with that next burst of some snow across central and eastern parts of the Bluegrass State. And tomorrow evening, that'll begin to exit with some wraparound flurries and snow showers that would likely carry us into the day on Friday with much colder air that works on in. Temperatures on the models already are too warm. Again, that has been the consistent theme of the computers for the past couple of weeks, at least at the ground. Now upstairs, they were kind of nailing some of that sleet and snow signature, but look at the future radar, 1 o'clock in the morning and around 4, and then by 7 we start to see just a little bit of drying, and then I do think that next round is going to build right back into tomorrow afternoon. Are you sick and tired of this pattern? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm hashtag Team Spring. Unfortunately, we still got a few more days before we can get out of this. By the time we go into the weekend, it starts to look better after a couple of frigid mornings, and guys, middle of next week, 50 degrees, a good possibility.
Now,
and that's where we rejoice, right?
We can look forward to that,
yes,
can't we?
Yes.
Former President Donald Trump has some critical words for Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell.
And a prominent conservative radio host has died. Bill Bryant has the details in today's Bottom Line.
Good evening. While we deal with the cold weather, things are heating up on the political scene, even though this is not an election year here in Kentucky. Former President Donald Trump has issued a toughly worded statement that is highly critical of Kentucky's senior Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. Trump called McConnell a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack. And he predicted Republicans will not win again if McConnell continues as the party's most prominent leader. It comes days after McConnell voted to acquit Trump on an impeachment charge, but then gave a tough speech on the Senate floor in which McConnell was highly critical of Trump's actions during the deadly January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. In his speech, McConnell essentially held Trump responsible for the attack. Here in Kentucky, the state legislature is off this week due to the weather conditions, but Senate President Robert Stivers has filed a bill that would take away the governor's power to directly appoint a senator to fill a vacancy should one occur. The bill provides for a temporary appointment that would have to be chosen from a list of 3 candidates chosen by the party of the senator who departed. Senator Mitch McConnell supports that legislation. Democrats are questioning the timing, and Democratic Governor Beshear considers it a way for the legislature to strip power from him and future governors. We learned during our noon newscast today that longtime conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh died today. He had been dealing with lung cancer. With his 3-hour weekday radio show heard on nearly 600 stations around the country, Limbaugh had a huge audience and shaped a lot of political conversation in the nation. Former President Trump had awarded Limbaugh the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Rush Limbaugh was 70. And with the legislature out this week, the last day to file new bills in the session is next Tuesday, February 23rd, but the session is at about the halfway point, so bills now are competing for attention with the goal of getting a state budget passed. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Center College will be holding a safety forum tonight to address recent vandalism. Officials say several words along with racist symbols were scratched onto a desk in the library. School leaders condemn what happened. The recent vandalism, along with ideas on keeping the campus safe and inclusive for everyone, will be discussed at the meeting tonight at 7. School officials did not say what words or symbols were used or if there were any suspects in that vandalism.
Our vaccine team here at WKYT is working to answer your questions about the rollout of the vaccine, including the availability of 1C appointments. That's next. Welcome back as we continue to watch vaccine rollout across Kentucky. We're here to answer your questions. So the first one, I have been trying to help my dad get signed up in Winchester. Why has it been so hard to get the vaccine in your local town? Also, I'm in phase 1C. And when does that start? There are several places in or near Clark County offering vaccinations. A Winchester Walgreens and independent pharmacy are part of a new federal program. Walmart is scheduling vaccine appointments. Check with your local hospital and county health department. In Lexington, there are the state's regional site at the Kentucky Horse Park and UK Healthcare's vaccination site at Kroger Field. Now, as far as phase 1C, while priority is for those 70 and older, people in phase 1C may be scheduled for vaccinations now. This is to ensure that the state meets its goal of using its vaccine quickly. Next question. I am 59 years old and have COPD. My GP said that if I get COVID-19 that I will die. Can you help? Well, we hope that doesn't happen. Based on your age and your health, you are part of phase 1C. It includes anyone 60 or older anyone 16 or older with high-risk health conditions, and essential workers. Again, priority is for those 70 or older, but people in Phase 1C may schedule vaccinations now. Okay, now is our tip of the day. If you signed up for notifications on the state's vaccine.ky.gov website, or its Find a Vaccine hotline, that's just an alert system. It's only going to tell you when you're eligible to schedule an appointment for a shot. It's still up to you to find and schedule an appointment. For more information from the vaccine team here at WKYT, open your smartphone's camera and aim it at this QR code. The link to the vaccine team page should pop up. You can also email your questions to vaccineteam@wkyt.com.
We continue to track our third wave of winter weather and the impacts from our earlier storms. WKYT News at 6 is next.